Okay. You have so, Mr. Bones, you have an addition to your family.
I do. It's a new puppy.
New puppy.
His name is Sul, short for Azul. Um,
Nice.
reason why is because the puppy almost died giving birth. It came out feet first,
Hmm.
and we had to save it. We had to pull it out. But let me grab him real quick. One moment.
Yeah, we gotta see Mr. Scrunchy Face. Puppy time in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, boom,
Oh,
go
puppy
puppy.
time! It's a puppy time. Let's go.
You puppy time. Look at it. Look at his little cute
Oh,
little muffin.
so cute. Just fits right in
Yeah.
your hand.
He's
Oh,
so
nice.
small. He's beautiful, huh? Beautiful.
Oh,
Beautiful
yes.
puppy.
There we go. There's the views we needed right there. Perfect.
Those are the views.
Yeah. Okay, that's gonna be the end of the podcast, guys. We're done.
See you later.
See ya. Okay, well, I thought since part of it was the fact that I lacked trying to find things to talk about, so I decided, you know what? Why not just cut into the easiest things to talk about on a podcast? And of course, I meant conspiracy theories.
Conspiracy
So,
theories.
so we're going to talk about our favorite conspiracy theories, our top 3. We're just going to
Oh
talk,
yeah.
see if maybe we're being sheep or if we got it all right. We'll see.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because you've been
What's
wanting to
what?
do a conspiracy theory episode since
Yeah.
before we
I've
even
been
started this.
yeah. Even like before we even planned this out, I was like, we should do a conspiracy theory episode. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, now it's here.
Yeah.
Episode. What episode are
Yeah.
we on? 3 or 4?
Yeah. No, it's gonna be good. I think conspiracy theories, in my opinion, are some of the most interesting things to talk about in general to anyone. Because you're always, I think most people tend to believe in at least one in some way, shape, or form.
Except for flat Earth. Yeah. If you're.
Well, there's plenty of people who believe that. So, and we'll get
Uh.
into the flat Earth thing. So,
People. Weird people.
yeah, exactly.
But what are your opinions about the conspiracy theories as a whole, as a general thing?
I think it's hard because I think there's a good thing about conspiracy theories, and I think there's a bad thing about them. I think the good thing is it's not a bad thing to think more into it and look more into stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's a horrible idea to do. Mostly because I feel like when you do that, you kind of see more than you would initially. And
Yeah.
in the end of the day, I mean, most conspiracy theories are about like trusting your government and whatnot. And I think you have to take a grain of salt with a lot of things that your government says. So I don't think it's bad, but at the end of the day, the flip side of it is that people can get really ingrained in it and
And it can change their whole life.
yeah, and lose themselves more or less and start to just
Yeah.
not see, like they start practically seeing things that really aren't even there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of how I feel, honestly.
What's one of the first conspiracy theories you've heard of, like at a younger age, that like you like first thought like it was true instantly, or just anything around that?
I mean, I guess you could probably say aliens, I think, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I would even necessarily classify that as a conspiracy theory that much. I feel like the first one that I kind of like really delved, I don't want to say deep into, but looked more into was probably 9/11. I think some of the things that were brought up made a lot of sense to me in just kind of their own way.
What type of things?
Um, I don't know. Like I think the big thing for me is that I'm not going to say that I 100% believe the conspiracy theories behind 9/11, but I will say that I don't doubt that they can be true,
Like
especially
some
like
are plausible, right?
yeah, like the false flag stuff, like the US striking and attacking their own to make it look like someone else. And I don't see that being not plausible by any means. There's a reason that false flag is a term because that's
Yeah.
happened before.
Yeah.
And so and we had reasons to go to the Middle East after that, that weren't just about the attack. A lot of it had to do with oil, and that's
Oh
part of the
yeah.
reason that we're still there now.
Because they could have easily just fabricated. I mean, I'm not saying they did, but like they could have fabricated an attack on not like on the Twin Towers, and then they're like, oh, it's time to go to war because they hit our country, but in reality, it was for the oil,
Yeah, and I think that's the
right?
big one that I think, and at the end of the day, like, I wouldn't say I 100% believe anything in general.
Hmm.
It's just more of I'm bringing up what I feel like makes sense, at least. And
Yeah,
in my
yeah.
opinion, it makes sense that we would do something like that to give ourselves an excuse to go to war, especially an excuse that most of America at that time would agree with.
Hmm.
Um, and I think there is a lot of different things about 9/11 that, in my opinion, do raise questions at the most. Um, I mean, there's the the slogan, jet fuel can't melt steel beams and that type of thing.
Can jet fuel melt
No,
steel?
it's been
No.
tested that it doesn't get hot enough, and so that's kind of something that's kind of one of the bigger ones too, along with the false flag idea.
Yeah.
Um, and that leads into like why would two planes make it fall down like that, specifically
Hmm.
like that, because it's not like they toppled over. They just imploded on themselves and went straight down. And
That's true, huh?
um, I think a lot of people think that's really weird. Why they even came down in the first place, especially because
Yeah,
the
because a
planes
building,
the planes
yeah, a
hit up
building,
pretty high.
yeah.
Um, so there's that, and I think the second plane crash, the video of that, I don't know. It just, to me, I have a hard time seeing a commercial airliner when I see that. It doesn't look like one, in my
Really?
opinion. It just doesn't really, to me, at least. I could be wrong. I could just be seeing things, but like, I don't know. There's just a lot that makes it to where, like, I think it's plausible that it was not the way it said it happened. I'm not going to be like 9/11 didn't happen, because obviously
Yeah.
we all fucking saw it happen,
Yeah,
but it's just a matter of, who did it. I think it's plausible that it may not be who the government said it was. So,
that's true. I wouldn't doubt that they would do that
mm.
though, like you said.
Yeah, and
But
I think the big thing about 9/11 too is, when I say I believe that, it's also in no way shape or form to dishonor the people who died that day,
mhm,
regardless of who did it. It's fucking horrible and
yeah,
absolutely atrocious, and whoever did it, of course, needs to be held accountable.
yeah,
um so I just want to make that clear before anyone comments being like, oh, that's so disrespectful. And it's like, no, like, the people who died, like, that sucks. I can't, there's no other way to put it.
yeah.
So,
God, may God rest his souls. But I saw a thing and it was how, because right, the tower's this big, right, like the plane
mhm.
crashing, right?
Yeah,
Because if the plane were to crash up here, the top would only fall, right?
yeah,
Or
hypothetically.
hypothetically, like that part would only fall, or like the plane would get stuck. But didn't it go like straight through, or did it get stuck? Or I can't remember.
No, it got stuck inside. It did not go. Neither of them went straight through.
Okay, so if that happened, yeah. So
Well, I think the other thing too that people bring up is that there were, and a lot of people forget, is that another World Trade Center nearby fell too, even though nothing hit it.
really,
Yeah, and not a lot of people know that. On the same day, at the same time, it occurred,
that's so
and
strange.
it also fell in the same way too. And
Straight
so,
down,
yeah, so people bring up the idea that there was, uh, like, demolition explosives in the buildings to make them fall
like
that way.
thermite, or
Well, thermite is the idea that people think it was like painted into the walls because it's the only thing when ignited that can get hot enough to melt steel beams.
mhm,
So that's one thing that people bring up. But the other thing that people bring up is just that maybe secretively there was, the same explosives they used for demolitions was planted into the towers, which is why it fell the way it did. It fell the same way literally any other demolition falls, um, or controlled demolition. And I think that's another theory that a lot of people have, that I my thing is it raises questions. That's all. Like, I'm not
Yeah,
saying these are 100% facts. Obviously, I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't part of the planning or anything like that if there was planning. And so this is what people think. So,
yeah. I mean, I think that conspiracy is plausible though. Is there any other like 9/11 conspiracies like
um,
in that?
well, the one of the conspiracies is that people, people will say like, oh, there was family members of victims who were getting like phone calls from their family members saying what was happening, and I think some people think that those could have been faked if it was a false flag, like they could have faked the calls
The phone call?
themselves. Especially with technology that's not necessarily out of the realm of possibility. I mean, there's plenty of technology out there that can mimic people's voices pretty easily. I think that one I wouldn't say I care about that much really, because I think regardless of how it happened, I don't see why phone calls needed to be faked either way.
Yeah.
The one that a lot of people bring up is the Pentagon,
Oh
um,
yeah.
because the literally the only image that the videos, like the webcam or the cameras that they have, because I think they shot in like they shoot in still images, not like continuous video, at least at that time.
Mm.
Like literally the only image did not have a plane or rocket in it, or whatever.
It was just like the
it,
building destroyed,
all of a
right?
sudden the building just explodes. And also people make the argument that the way the plane supposedly hit would have taken like literally the most expert possible plane
Maneuver.
pilot to maneuver
Yeah.
it and hit it the way it did. Um, and they said, if we're being told that these are some trained Al Qaeda people, like they're most likely not going to be able to do that. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's not impossible. People pull off incredible things that are way out of their skill level all the time. It does
Like a
happen.
360 no scope, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like if I went and just won a Bed Wars game by myself. There's you would think it's impossible, but it may happen someday. Um, so
I think so there's no plane debris in the Pentagon.
that's the thing, is I don't remember seeing any in any of the like the after pictures. You just don't see any debris that looks like a plane at all. Um, so yeah,
Let me check that out actually. I'm pretty curious. Um
yeah.
I mean,
There's a lot of layers to that one, and there's a reason why it's one of the more prominent ones. It's like the most prominent other than JFK, at least in the U.S. I don't know much about JFK, so I can't really. I wouldn't say that I would talk about it that much, but
I think you're right. Yeah, because I'm looking at the debris right now, and there's like super small plain pieces, but like
yeah.
it's like some that's already been pulled out. But like besides that, there's nothing else
Well, there's people think that it was a missile, not a
in this
plane.
one.
Um, which missiles can be radio guided, and it wouldn't be hard to do the actual trajectory in that sense. But it's a weird thing in general. I mean, obviously, you look at the Pentagon pictures, not seeing some big ass fucking commercial plane sticking out of the Pentagon. You just don't, and that's what's really weird. It's just there's not one. And um yeah, it's the most interesting one in my opinion to me, because it was literally one of the biggest events in US history. And
Yeah,
I think the idea that there are reasons to question how it happened is very interesting, and it's hard to not pay attention to it, honestly.
yeah. Cause it could be government manipulation.
Could be, and I think that's what people think, is it could have been a false flag. And I
Yeah.
think the last thing that I'll bring up is people bring up how George Bush responded.
How did
It's
he
that,
respond?
well, there's that famous video of him reading a book in a kindergarten class in Florida. That's where he was at the time, and you can see an aide come talk to him, and people are assuming that's when they told him like, "Hey, something bad happened,"
Um,
and he doesn't get up and leave. He finishes the kid's book and whatnot, and
if you were George Bush, right, would you finish the kid's book?
No,
or would
bro,
you
you're the
leave right away?
president, and you just got
Really?
told about literally the worst terrorist attack of all time on your history, and you're gonna finish the fucking Giving Tree or something? Like,
like the
no.
the the reason why I'm saying that, right, is because in the movie Scary Movie, right,
Hmm.
and they parody that moment, right? Uh, they come tell him in Scary Movie, right,
Yeah.
and he's like, "What? A plane just hit?
Hmm.
What?" And he's freaking out the kids, right, in the movie,
Yeah.
and the kids are like, "Mom, mom," you know. I
Well,
feel
and that's
like
my thing is I'm not saying he should have reacted by being like, "Oh my god, a plane hit." It's just like you'd be like, "You know what, guys? Maybe I'll be back to finish this story. I'm a dip." And
honestly,
you
if
know,
I was him, I'd finish that book.
I don't know, man.
I finish.
It's super sus if you ask
I
me.
mean, think about it. You're the president, right? You have a promise to withhold to these kids, you know? You're like, all right, I'm gonna read
To
them.
read a book.
I'm gonna read them this book. I'm gonna make their day. I'm the president. You know, I'm gonna read you a book, right?
By the time they can vote, it's not like they can vote for him. It's not like he's gonna be running.
But
It's not
like,
like a campaign
you know
promise.
what
I
I
will
mean,
finish
right?
all books.
You know what I'm saying, though, right? Like, you know, a
Yeah.
president would, at least, give the kids a time of day to, finish that fucking
Sure,
book.
bro. Yeah,
That's just my
fuck
opinion
those
on
people
that.
in New York, right? That's that's it. Yeah, okay.
I'm just saying, I would finish that book. They're kids,
Sure. Why not? Okay, so let's move on from the most controversial one we're gonna get to. Well, I guess you asked me what I thought about
Mhm.
conspiracy theories. What's your like overall thing with them?
Overall, like as a whole, as conspiracy theories in general, I think there's like so many that are plausible. Definitely, so fuck. Definitely the Nazi ones, the German, like going to them hiding in Argentina.
Hitler, yeah. Hitler
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
actually kill himself and moved to Argentina. And
because I personally don't think that Hitler died like the way he died. That's
yeah.
because like the Russians had like the bones, I think, right? Yeah, the Russians had the bones. I can't remember something. I'm not. That's what I mean. Like, I can't really talk about that too much because I'm not very too informed about it.
Hmm.
But like, I saw something where it was like, oh, they had the bones of Hitler just to, like, confirm some stuff, and they found out that it was female bones. That's where the female bone conspiracy came from, right?
Huh. Well,
And
I
then
mean,
that's
he supposedly died with his mistress or wife at the time, Ava Braun. From what I could
yeah,
tell, is that they both killed themselves at the same time or something in the bunker. And at the end of the day, like, there's no evidence to necessarily point that he didn't do it, but there's
yeah,
also not really any evidence to point that he did.
yeah.
So it's
There's
kind of
no
like I don't
evidence.
really think we're ever gonna know unless like remains turn up somehow and like they're like, oh my
Time
god, this is
travel,
yeah, it could have been that too. I mean,
time travel.
probably
No,
fucking
I mean
anything.
like we go back in time and
Oh
go check it
yeah,
out.
yeah, and
Not him
just
time traveling.
yeah, we just need to like sky cam him like it's NBA
Yeah.
2K and just just
But
watching him.
I wouldn't doubt. I mean, with Nazi technology back then, they could have found out time travel. You never know.
True, it's
Like, but
possible.
besides that though, I feel like my top, like my number one conspiracy that like I think is like plausible, right?
Hmm.
Is the simulated Earth
Okay.
theory,
So
and even
explain to the people who don't know what does that conspiracy theory entail?
okay, so the simulated Earth theory, right, is basically like because you know how we have games, right? We have video games like The
Yeah,
Sims, for example, right? The
yeah,
Sims is so fucking sophisticated, and like how you can control a character, right?
yeah.
It's basically like that, except we're the Sims and someone's controlling us, but we don't know if we're a video game, right?
Okay,
None of that. So we could just be like a huge simulation program that's so fucking detailed to the point where we think we have our own free will, where that was implemented into our minds, right?
okay.
And even what's that physicist? Neil deGrasse?
Well, he's an
Neil
astrophysicist, I think.
yeah, I just he even thinks that this is like very true, you know? Just because like there's so much evidence that backs it up, right?
So
I don't know.
there's evidence that someone is controlling me with like a remote control, right?
Yeah, there's no. I mean, no. Well, I mean, we don't know for a video game, but like there's evidence that the world could be a simulation, not that we're controlled in like specifically us.
So what type of evidence is there for that?
Honestly, bro, I don't really know too much
That's what I
evidence
thought.
about it, but but like I saw. Okay, I know one. It was this is a kind of iffy. I saw this one years ago, and it was these scientists were like shooting a ball into a target, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then apparently the ball split into two. Wait, no. Okay, let me repeat that again. Okay, so there's a cover, right? Then
Yeah.
the cover, right? They tried to shoot the ball, and then the ball split into two, one around, back into one, other side,
Is there
right?
video evidence of this happening?
I can't remember. I
Because
just
I was gonna
remember
say,
seeing
like,
something
I'm not
about
I'm
it.
not gonna just take someone's word for it.
Well, I know. I mean, it's hard for me to believe, right? Because this is the thing, right? They try to get video evidence, right? Because there's so
Yeah.
many witnesses that day, right? So many scientists, and it sounds fucking stupid, right? But like literally, when they try to do it again with anything that recorded it, it wouldn't do it. You
Of
know? Like,
course it didn't.
yeah, yeah, right.
Really?
Like you think that, right? But like even though, like besides that, like if you even Google like strong backings with like simulations and all, like the chances of it are really fucking high.
No, I
You know?
here's the thing is I would say that there, to me, I don't feel like that specific one is plausible, but there is a similar one that I feel like is more plausible. Have you ever watched The Truman Show? That
It's true.
movie
It
with
sounds
Jim
familiar.
Carrey, where basically he's living in like a huge dome, and
Oh, I
everyone
know.
around him
Yeah.
are actors, but he doesn't know, and his life is being broadcasted as a TV show, and he has no idea. He thinks he's living normal life, and it turns out everything is fake. Even the moon is fake. It's uh, electronic and all that, and he lives in a huge dome.
Mm.
Um, in my opinion, I'm not going to tell anyone that yes, this is plausible that this is happening.
The dome
Now,
Earth theory.
yeah, but at the same time, I will say that there have not there have been times where I'm like, you know what? What if everyone around me was like just like acting, and this was just like a long running
Show for just someone's
show,
entertainment.
but
Yeah.
not necessarily in a dome or that type of crap, but like everyone is an actor, and
Some Rick and Morty type shit,
in a
basically.
way,
Yeah.
yeah, and there's hidden
Yeah.
cameras everywhere and that type of shit, and
So like
I'm the only one who's oblivious to this, that type of
is
thing.
us.
Yeah, and I feel like it's not that I think that's plausible in the sense of like I have any evidence to prove that. It's just more of like it's like those thoughts you have when you're like driving down the road alone in the
Like
car,
taking a
and you're just like,
shower or something.
yeah, and you're just like, you know what? This just
It's
feels weird.
possible.
Yeah.
'Cause, like, I mean, that's what they did in Rick and Morty right? Because in Rick and Morty, the people in there, right, in the show,
Hmm.
they were a show for everybody's enjoyment for the whole fucking galaxy,
Yeah.
right? They're like, "Show me what you got," and, like, it's like
Hmm.
a whole fucking singing show with, like, every planet has to do, like, a singing competition to do that,
Yeah.
right? It's, like, the same kinda thing, but, like, it could I mean, you never I think I think it's might be possible, but, like, I doubt it.
Well, I think the main reason why I'm like I get so about the simulated Earth theory is I've seen so many fucking TikToks of people milking that whole like idea where they're
Yeah,
like,
no, TikTok
re
kinda fucks with it.
yeah, they're like proof that everything is simulated part 4, and they're fucking pouring water into a glass, and then it's just some bullshit like it's some fake legitimate video, and you're just like, fucking like, who is farming likes right now? Like, it's so obvious.
Yeah, let me read you, this is on Wikipedia, by the way. Wikipedia not really a
Okay,
trusted
yeah,
source, right? But, like, I
the
mean, it's
most
on
the most trusted source.
it's my most trusted, right?
It's more trusted than like the Library of Congress.
Fuck the Congress Library. Oh, actually, after this, I wanna tell you something, right?
Okay.
Okay, so this is where the Earth, not Earth, simulated Earth theory came from. All right, there's a long philosophical and scientific history of the undying thesis that reality is an illusion. This skeptical hypothesis can be traced back to antiquity, for example, to the butterfly dream of Zangwick. I don't know how to fucking say his name. I'm sorry. And the Indian philosophy of Maya, or in the ancient Greek philosophy, Anaxarchus and
Yep.
Minimus likened existing things, a scene painting over to a scene painting and suppose them to resemble the impressions experienced in a sleep or madness, right?
Yeah.
But
That reminds me of a little story actually,
really,
or I guess it's not really a story. It's a little thought that I've had reoccurring for the longest time. that matches somewhat to this in a way. Um,
Uh-huh.
when I was like 5 or 6,
Yeah.
I remember I lived in California at the time, and California is obviously not known for having any other weather other than literally sun and fucking you're gonna die heat. Well,
Oh
there
wait,
was
don't forget avocado toast, dude.
oh, of course. And there was a night or a day when
Mhm.
for some reason it was raining, but it was also thunderstorm, like thunder and lightning too, which never fucking happened. And I
Yeah.
remember I was looking out the window because I had almost never seen it before. It was one of the first times, and I was looking out the window with the the window up, just the screen down, and I was laying on my parents' bed at the time, and I remember I fell asleep, and
Yeah.
I truly, I don't know how this spurred, but like when I hit middle school, I had one of these existential thought times about the same shit like
Okay.
we're talking about. And I'm like, you know
Yeah.
what? I don't ever remember waking up from that shit. And I'm like, wouldn't it be like, is there a possibility that I've been in like a coma this whole time? And this is
Oh,
all just
that's like the whole.
like everything is playing out in my mind and while I'm in a coma and I've been in a coma for like
Yeah,
years or
I've
some
I've
shit.
thought about that, but like I thought in a weird way. I thought about like, what if I'm in a coma, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know it, and I don't remember the beginning, right?
Yeah.
And you're just living this fucking life, and then you wake up, boom, Chinese family,
Yeah. No,
you know?
I and it really just spurred from I'm like, this is like I don't know why. I'm just like I don't know why it was in my head. I'm like, you know what? I don't remember ever waking up from that nap, which is super weird
You
because I was
really
fucking
don't
5. Yeah, and I didn't think about it until way later in life. But yeah, I don't know. And obviously, I'm 22 now, and I'm
wake up,
obviously not
Jake.
gonna
Wake
remember.
up.
I'm not gonna remember shit from 5. But yeah, no, I thought about that, and I think it's probably a fairly normal thought that a lot of people have. This existential
Yeah.
thought of like, is this all actually real? And I don't want to say I don't personally like have any reason to believe that everything is simulated, like what you first mentioned. But like,
Uh huh.
I think a lot of people do have that at least that curiosity that what if everything isn't how it is or supposed to be?
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, you have the right to believe. I think we could be living in a simulation. You know, the chances of it.
you
Cause let
know
me
what? It's possible, and
let
anything is possible.
here, let me read the top three arguments
Okay.
about it. Right. Number one, the fraction of human level civilizations that reach a post human stage that is one capable of running high fidelity ancestor simulations is very close to zero, or the fraction of post human civilizations that are interested in running simulations of their evolutionary history or the nations thereof. Fucking Wikipedia, dude. This is very close to zero, or the fraction of all people with our kind of experience that are living in a simulation is very close to me. So basically, what it's saying, right? Let me paraphrase that for those dumbasses. Um,
Including me apparently because I didn't get it.
basically, what it's saying, right? If a top tier civilization, right, like us, got big brain, right, and became so fucking smart, they wanted to see like the past history of Earth, right? And how it'd be created, but they can't see it themselves because, for example, let's say they don't have time travel, right?
Hmm.
Very hypothetical, right? And they can't go back in time. They would create a simulation with new humans to see how would they prosper, how would they grow,
Yeah.
and then that would be us, right?
Yeah.
So the born of Christ, you know, Adam and Eve, or evolution, whichever one people want to fucking think of, could be a simulation, right? And that's where they want to see us grow because that's how they could have been.
Yeah.
Make sense?
In a
Yeah.
way. In a way.
Yeah. So like they'd be watching us grow as how they were told they grew.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the main theory.
I sort of get it. I sort of get what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, you see?
I mean, it's I'm can't say I'm any closer to believing that that's
I
true,
mean
but
this is just one thing, right? But like
yeah,
there's
it's like they get
the,
so genius that they've made spectate mode. Great, good for them.
well like that's the thing though, even the astrophysicist, right? Or the fuck his name is, right? The dude, right? He's really cool though. Um
Neil
he
deGrasse High
even
School.
yeah, he said there's no evidence that's told him, no counter argument that's told him that Earth can't be a simulation.
Yeah,
And then there's a
Yeah,
guy, I think, yeah. So, and I think there's a guy in physics, a dude in Harvard. I think it's Harvard. I can't remember. Who's backed up the simulated Earth theory so fucking much with like so top tier evidence. And this is just one evidence. I can't think. I don't know if it's from him, but this is just one of I think hundreds
okay,
of top tier evidence. You know?
gotcha.
Yeah, but that's
It's a
the
very interesting
simulated Earth
one.
theory. Yeah, I think this is very possible.
Yeah. Well, I think this leads into another good conspiracy theory. Um, let's talk about flat Earth for a minute. Okay. So first of
Uh,
all, and I'm not
you
afraid to
mean
say this, if you believe in flat Earth right now,
fucking
please
stupid?
comment and tell me why.
Yeah,
Because one, you're a fucking dumbass, and two, I want to be entertained. So,
yeah.
so flat Earth. This is probably the one that I think I've maybe watched the most content about in general.
Oh yeah,
Um,
me too.
there's whole
I want
YouTube channels dedicated to like scientists that will just debunk YouTube videos that are about flat Earth. Um,
instantly right
yeah,
away. Yeah,
easy, and a lot of it is just logical stuff too.
yeah.
So, um, yeah, and I think what's the most interesting thing, well, not, it's hard because this whole theory is interesting in the sense that I don't know how many brain cells you need to, snort away to
Mm,
believe that this shit. But it's kind of, in my opinion, it's very related to like the QAnon stuff and whatnot. It's the do your own research people who actually don't do their own fucking research, or at least don't know how to do proper research,
yeah,
and they all that's the population of people who actually believe this shit.
yeah.
Like
It's
they're,
fucking ridiculous.
yeah, it's absolutely
Uh,
absurd.
correct me if I'm wrong, right? But I think the flat Earth theory started out as a joke.
Oh, I'm 100% sure. It probably started out as a meme, and then people were
Yeah,
like,
and then people
but
actually
what
believed
if,
it.
but what if,
What if it is
but what if
flat,
it is flat?
right? But like,
Unironically.
right? But this theory's been there for like the longest time, though. Because back when like they read maps and stuff,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, the map's flat. What if the Earth is flat? And that's why people are like, oh, don't fall off the edge, dumbass. Stupid
Yeah.
bitch.
Yeah.
But like until like like back when they started getting like well fucking educated about the Earth being round,
Hmm.
because at first they thought the sun spun around us,
Yeah.
right? But then after a while, over time, people are like, okay, no, it's not real, right? Until like I think the joke came around where it was like, oh, okay, flat Earth is could be real.
Yeah, and I don't think that the people, back in fucking like 1400 are stupid, because at the end of the day, they didn't have the same,
Technology we did.
scientific ways of, obviously they didn't make it to space like we
Yeah,
did. um, I mean, granted, that's a lot of it is logical in general. A lot of the reasons why you can debunk it really easily is logical, and you don't really need scientific reason to believe it. Because
huh,
in my head, if you tell me, "Oh, I believe in flat Earth," I'm like, okay, so you're telling me if I go to Mount Everest, the tallest point on the Earth, and I look out, I can see the U.S. from there. That's literally what you're
yeah,
telling me if you're saying that the Earth is flat. That's what you're telling me.
yeah.
Because then that implies that if I'm at the highest point I can possibly
You
be,
can see across the
that
fucking
I
world.
need to be able to see across the fucking world, and that's
Yeah.
obviously not true.
Bro,
Duh.
I think I think you're wrong, dude. No,
Oh,
but
I
I'm
can see
just
my
joking.
fucking house from over here,
But
bro.
there was a whole documentary about this fucking thing, right?
Yeah.
And this whole documentary was, oh, we're gonna go prove that the flat Earth is real, right? And this whole experiment was to basically have a hole in a fence,
Hmm.
shine a light through it, and theoretically, um, if they catch that light going straight through another hole, that it's flat, right?
Yeah.
But guess what? It didn't shine through the fucking hole. It dimmed down like a curved Earth. And then
Well,
flat earthers
yeah,
debunked their own theory.
yeah, yeah,
They
and
proved, yeah, they proved that the Earth was round.
well, and my thing too is like literally all you have to do is go to the fucking beach and watch a
A
ship
boat. Yeah,
go
just go
away,
across.
and
Yeah,
you can literally watch it with binoculars literally disappear from the bottom up. And you want
yeah.
to know why that is, fucking dumbass? Is
It's
because
curved.
it's going around the curve.
Exactly.
And people will bring up, they'll be like, "Oh, it's not because I went to the beach and everything looks fat." Well, yeah, yeah. The Earth is what 17,000 fucking miles in diameter. No shit, you're not going to see the curvature from your own little point of view. You might see it
Yeah,
at the
see it
top
from
of,
pretty far.
yeah. I mean, you could probably see it at the top of Everest. I don't know, but I mean, when you're so big, I mean, of course, it's not going to be that steep of a change that you
Yeah.
are wanting it to be. And it's funny too because, like, obviously, we have pictures from International Space Station and all that, and from space that literally, I mean, show it clear as day. And that I think that's the thing that I feel like also bleeds into like the QAnon stuff too, is that
Hmm.
as soon as you present evidence, it's fake. It's 100%
Yeah.
fake. They
Yeah.
think NASA is fake. They think everything they do is CGI and fake.
I mean, you never know,
I mean, like, I mean, uh,
because NASA's pretty sketchy though, to be honest. Like, and from
yeah. I
my
mean, I'm not,
opinion,
I'm
I
not
think it's
saying that,
pretty
but I mean,
sketchy.
they're not faking the fact that the Earth is flat. Like, come
Yeah.
on. The
'Cause-
most sketchy thing about NASA is I think they hide like if aliens are real, but that's it.
Oh no, no, no! Let me tell you about that. I think it was the FBI or the Navy, but one of them released UFO information.
Yeah.
So aliens are real.
Well, here's the thing: is
I think.
the one thing about those is that it does not necessarily mean that aliens or extraterrestrial beings are real.
Hmm.
It means we have no idea what this object is. We have no way of identifying
Alien.
what it is. Therefore, it's a UFO. And I think that's the thing is a lot of people think of UFO, they think of aliens and
Yeah.
extraterrestrial beings must be
But what would
inside.
it be though?
But
It can't be
UFOs
us, though,
are
right?
unidentified flying objects.
Yeah.
It's the
Well, like,
same.
that's the thing, though, right?
Like if you look up and you see a paper black a paper like a balloon that someone
Yeah.
accidentally released, but you
Yeah.
can't make it out, that's technically a UFO because you don't know what it is. It's unidentified at that time. And
Right.
so,
But that's the thing, though, right? Okay, right? If why would it's a flying saucer, right? It's a giant fucking spaceship, right?
yeah.
But what else would it be though if not aliens?
Well, and that's where the argument comes in is
Uh huh.
that, you know, they released this footage. It does not necessarily mean that
The
that's
aliens
what
are
it
real.
is,
Uh huh.
but
It's just the
but
information that they have on a
now you
flying object.
can now it does raise the question, well, where is this from? Is it from a different planet or
Yeah.
different beings, or is it just something we just haven't discovered yet that isn't necessarily another life form? Maybe it's just a different, like an object we've never discovered before.
Uh huh.
And that's where I think the argument isn't the fact that they're UFOs. It's the argument now is like, does it really prove that aliens are real? And I don't necessarily think it does that because there's a reason that they're identified as UFOs. Now, if they had released footage of, you know, like catching like radio waves of unearthly beings talking, that would be a lot different because
Mm.
that's like, that would be way different. But, um, and trust me, I'm one of those people who I think there's other beings other than us outside in the universe. I
Yeah.
100% believe that. I think it's
'Cause
absolutely dumb.
we can't be the only
Yeah, we're
fucking
the
living
only
beings in the
ones.
universe.
I mean, they found fucking water on Mars and shit. Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, and so I do believe that. It's just that I don't see the Navy stuff or the Army stuff and think, oh, that 100% proves it now.
I think it could be aliens though. To be honest with you, I think it's fucking aliens.
Yeah, and you're right. You have the right to assume that that's what it is, 100%. And I wouldn't say
No,
that.
it's not an assumption, it's a fact.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Yeah.
honestly do think it's aliens. I mean, that's it. That's all I think. I think it's
I
fucking aliens, bro.
Well, in my opinion, it's either that or there is a country out there that has
The top
insanely
tier
high tech
technology.
shit that we're just not aware of,
That's true. It could
or
be like
the
the US
government does know
government.
about, and then they're
They're
just
just
not
letting them
telling
fucking
us.
fly around. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That brings me to a theory though, right? This is like a pretty new theory. The whole COVID, right? Oh, COVID was released so people can be on their best behavior for the aliens. Cause you know that whole thing when like, oh, the
oh
Israeli government
oh,
was.
we're getting into COVID conspiracies now.
Well, this is just a quick one, right?
Okay.
But like, it was like, oh, right? Cause you know that whole thing with like the Israeli executive guy or whatever said that he talked to aliens. Like the US has been talking to aliens for a while. and another country was talking to aliens for a while too, and how we've been talking about him and like how we're supposed to be getting into the fucking alien fucking team or whatever, like
Yeah.
the right, and like how apparently how COVID was released for us to be in our best behavior, so that aliens are so that aliens like when they reveal their identity, they don't freak out, you know. They're like, oh, they're not acting like crazy bastards, you know. They're all inside their houses, like, oh, no big deal.
Just
But
go
that's
to just go to fucking Florida.
yeah. But that's one quick theory though about that, how we're supposed to be in our
Huh.
best behavior so they can be like, okay, you guys are good cadets to be in our alien civilization contract treaty thing, you know?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that was just a quick one though. I mean,
Biden is an alien confirmed?
Biden's fucking weird, dude.
Yeah, we don't need to get into that right
Yeah, man, he's
now.
fucking weird.
That
That's why
that's a
I'm not saying anything else. He's
yeah.
fucking weirdo.
Yeah. Okay.
Mario Kart.
I don't remember what else I wrote down. Okay. So now you had a couple I have one more to bring up and then you have a couple more to bring up too.
Do I?
Yeah. You have two more.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
One of them
um,
actually does kind of relate to flat earth in a way too. It's a like a spin-off theory in a way.
yeah, it's a quick spin-off theory.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so but Hollow Earth.
So
Hollow
explain to the
Earth.
people what that is.
Hollow Earth is a theory where the inside of the Earth is hollow. We're living on the outside. There's the crust, right, that goes down, and then a whole high tech civilization under there. Apparently, there's giants, mystical creatures, types of us down there that fucking hate us, despise us for some fucking reason. And then there's a sun there that gives off like energy, so like they can have sunlight down there too. Right? So it's like a little tiny fucking floating sun.
Okay.
Right? And then the how it began, I think it was as a Russian pilot or something, and he went to Antarctica and he saw a big ass fucking hole that went down for fucking, forever. And apparently he flew down there and saw like a whole thing, came back up. I think they killed him off after it's like him saying all that. And even I think it was recently that even Russia found a giant fucking hole that went down for fucking miles and miles and miles and miles, which people now believe could be a hollow earth entrance.
Hmm.
Right? But this is just a quick theory though. This is just like a whole there's giants down there and all that. But like I don't know too much also about that to like give you more info about it. Just
Well,
just
and
that.
I think the main reason why people may think that's plausible is the fact that when you're in elementary school, there's the whole thing about the core of the earth and all the layers and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't know is that is a theory on what
Mhm.
the earth looks like. And
Because we
there's
don't
no,
know.
because we haven't been able to dig deep enough to know anymore,
Yeah.
to have any evidence. Now, I yeah, I mean, I guess to be quick, I think he was fucking on acid or some shit, probably, um, because although
Yeah.
there are very big holes in the Antarctic where they're called crevices or crevasses, as people want to say them,
Crevasses.
crevasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think there are big holes there, but
Big
um,
assholes.
I think it's a very highly unlikely, and I think
Big
the
holes.
biggest thing too is just go is that the pressure change would be absolutely
Immense.
ginormous. It
Yeah,
would be
because we haven't even
darkish.
discovered our fucking ocean
It'd be dark as
completely.
shit. So how the fuck would he fly down there?
A
And
flashlight, bro.
yeah, and the other thing too is that it would be, we already know that it gets hotter the farther down you go.
Yeah.
So that um yeah, it would have been probably too hot for him to even get down there either. So I
Yeah.
think he was on a fucking acid. He's definitely a
Well, that's the
junkie.
thing, though. The theory is, though, it doesn't get like hot.
Yeah, well, it
It's not
does.
that hot.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
maybe
I think
maybe he flew past that hotness.
in my opinion, it's not as
It's
plausible.
that's yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's too far fetched to
it's a
be
bit,
honest.
it's a bit much.
Yeah, yeah,
It sounds like
giants,
something that like
mystical
if you went to
creatures.
like Woodstock, that some dude would be like, "Oh, did you hear about this?"
He's like, bro, have you not seen Journey to the Center of the Earth?
Yeah, dude. Like, I mean, Nicolas Cage went down there, bro.
Nah,
Like,
bro, you didn't see it. The
or
Rock,
was
dude,
it
he went
him
too.
or was it Brendan Fraser who's It was one of those two.
I think it was Brendan Fraser. They're
Yeah,
so fucking similar nowadays.
yeah, they're literally like the same person at this point.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, I don't see a difference between them two.
Okay. Do you want to go off actually over yours next because it still ties into my last one?
Let's go. I mean, mine's a quick one, but
So to
like,
recap really quick, we were gonna do three each. I mentioned 9/11, and I mentioned flat Earth, and Bones so far as hollow Earth and simulated Earth.
yeah,
And now we're going to our last ones each, which both sort of tie together in a very loose way, but it's kind of a similar idea.
yeah.
Um, I think mine, at least one of the more recent occurring ones, I think was the most interesting for me was Epstein, the whole Epstein stuff.
Is it really a theory though? I thought it was a fact.
I mean, there's a few different theories. One, the one of the theories is that he didn't kill himself in prison. That he wasn't the one who did it. That he was a hit was put out on him. And two, I think the other theory is that there are powerful people that either haven't been caught, or there was a lot of more powerful people than we know that were involved in his shit.
Uh huh.
Um, and I have absolutely no reason to believe that this is not true. Honestly, I think, and I watched the whole Epstein documentary that's on Netflix. If you haven't watched it, I'd recommend it. It's very interesting.
I should watch that.
Trigger warning for like sexual assault and obviously like pedophilia and that shit. But
Yeah.
um, I think they made a very good argument about how unlikely it was that he killed himself, especially with what was in his room because he was already in suicidal watch. So,
Wait, he was
and
gonna commit suicide?
he was already on suicide watch because of what he was arrested for, and they knew he was very powerful, and so I
Hmm.
think it was already like not out of the realm of possibility that he
Yeah.
would maybe try that. And a lot of people just don't believe that the way they said he died, which was asphyxiation. He basically like hung himself, but like from the bed
Yeah,
using
because
like
that
a blanket. And a
the
lot of people,
cameras went out, didn't they?
yeah, something like that. And for like that only that 25 minutes. And then the other thing was like people were like, how did he put nearly enough pressure to kill himself that way?
Uh
It
huh.
just doesn't make sense. So there's a lot of doubt in that. And I think it also ties into the fact that, he had huge
Help.
high profile contacts, and he was caught with this thing, and he more than likely, probably 99% sure, has probably a significant amount of dirt on a lot of very important and
Oh yeah.
powerful people that would have
Yeah.
been quite a big deal.
My boy Trump.
Yeah, Trump's one of them.
He's one of
The
them.
Clintons, Prince, the fuck is his
What the
name?
fuck his name
British
is?
dude.
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, even though Kevin Spacey's kind of already been outed for that shit, anyways.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I'm actually kind of surprised that Ghislaine is still alive, because she's supposed
Who?
to stand trial. Ghislaine Maxwell was his mistress, but also like the person who helped him do the things that
Uh.
happened. And she's currently in custody. I want to say in Britain or the U.S. I don't remember where. And a lot of people are surprised that she's even still alive because if he died, uh, she probably has a lot of dirt too. Um, so it's a very, I think the issue that I had with it is just, it's almost like the conspiracy of like, you have no idea what the people in power are doing, and they
Yeah.
have it's actually almost insane how much power they have.
Mm.
They're practically untouchable, really. um,
Uh.
and the fact that rich people and people in power have been proven to do these things is kind of strange. I think a lot of people think that most politicians and like royal family members and whatnot are, pedophiles in some way, shape, or form.
Because
Um,
some of these people are just fucking sick in the head. Because think about it, like common normal people, some like normal pedophile. I mean, not they're not normal people, but like
yeah,
a pedophile that you would like find, right, or like a rapist, trigger warning, and all that stuff
yeah,
that you would find. Some of these celebrities could be them, but they just never done it, and they could be doing it in secret.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I think that's what the Epstein documentary kind of made me feel. It's just like, I like, obviously there was names named in there about people that were at least on the logs that were on his plane and whatnot. And it just makes you wonder, like, how many, and
I
you
mean, yeah, I
know
think
it,
Oprah was one of them.
and yeah, and it's like, is your idol on there? How much do they know? How much did they do? Did they know nothing? Did they know
How long were they there
everything?
for? How long?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I mean, because that's the thing, is some of them may have not known absolute shit.
yeah,
And there's also people that know a lot more than they let on or are going to say at any point in their lives. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I think it was just I think a lot of people. There's a reason that a lot of people don't try to look up to major political figures or famous people. I certainly have tried not to anymore, because
yeah.
I feel like every time I like someone, they do some
Something
shit.
usually happens. Yeah.
So they do some shit that I don't like, and um, yeah, that's kind of been like a raging issue of the past like 5-10 years at this point. So
Yeah.
yeah.
This this whole Epstein thing is fucking insane.
Yeah, it's just crazy because there is a lot of layers to it, and
Yeah.
I mean, people don't even know how he was rich in the first place. Or I want to say he got rich from like hedge funds and shit, like stock
Hedge
market
funds.
stuff. Yeah, and he was
It
like a
makes
he
sense.
was like a financial advisor for like really rich people.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, I just want to. I wish I can just go back in time and just so fucking see what the fuck was going on, dude. Because this was like a whole complex thing that's
Oh,
been
I'm
happening
sure
for
I would
fucking
love
years.
if there was a spectate mode for life. That would be the sickest thing in the fucking world.
The simulation theory.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. I actually hope
Yeah.
that's true now.
Yeah, just fucking interesting. I mean, we're doing it Sims, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's
So,
an intense theory though.
last one for you. Go ahead.
The Illuminati, the not Illuminati,
Illuminated.
the the Illuminati card game that's predicted multiple fucking theories, right? And first of all, um this is like just a quick one, right? Because this card game came out back in the 1990s, I want to say, right?
Oh, a card
And
game. Okay, yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's a
I
card
haven't heard
game.
about this part then.
And this card game, there's pictures on them. For example, right? There's fuck. I wish I had a picture of all the cards, right? But there's a picture of the Twin Towers being struck and down and fucking exploding
Okay.
before it even happened on the cards. There's one of the Pentagon too. What is? There's a card called New World Order World War Three, which hasn't happened yet, right? What else? What else can I say? So basically, this card theory is like, oh, fucking all these cards have predicted that this happened, right? So 9/11, Obama being president, one of that him being one of them, he's like on a card too,
Hmm.
right? Princess Diana's death, she was one of them. And on the card game, and she's dead as we know, right?
Yeah, as far as we
Uh
know.
yeah, the oil spill in Gulf of Mexico, that's one of them, right?
But is it like, how specific is it, or is it just like you can just kind of be like, yeah, that seems like that is what it's talking about?
They're kind of they're like how would I say it, right?
They're not like super vague. Like it's easy to connect them, but they're not like specifically saying like one of the cards you draw isn't being like Barack H. Obama will be president in
No,
2008.
it'll be like it'll be how do I say it? It would be like, oh, New World Order, World War Three. It's a card, right? And it
Yeah,
shows a picture of what like a nuclear explosions, right? And it gives you like a detailed explanation of what the card does, right?
yeah,
So for example, Barack Obama, it'd be like, oh, uh black president, this and that, like the bio.
yeah.
All right, it'd say that, and then next thing you know, Obama was president.
Now this leads me into this. This sounds a whole lot about like The Simpsons.
Yeah,
The
they're not
Simpsons,
connected, but yeah.
The Simpsons basically have done this on almost a more like this, but on steroids at this point.
Yeah, dude, there's like the guard particle theory.
What was that?
And the guard particles, like I guess like the reason why we exist and the universe is created, like the Big Bang, I guess.
Yeah.
But like the God particle was real though, right? And The Simpsons, Homer drew on the chalkboard, like that one movie, he drew the God particle in
Okay.
exact fucking detail what the God particle was before it was even discovered in real life.
Yeah, well,
Right?
that's the thing too, is they guessed coronavirus. That came up at one
Mm,
point.
that one was fake.
Oh, it was? Okay. Well,
Sort of. It was called like it was like a weird Japanese virus thing. It was like it had like a dinosaur on it. Some people photoshopped it to make it look fake.
okay, because I was gonna say that I feel like every time a world event happens, I literally
They
always
have
see someone post on Twitter being like, "The Simpsons guessed it," and that
yeah.
bullshit. Like they guessed it when the Cubs won the World Series, and they guessed it when the fucking Tom
Uh,
Brady won. That shit. I'm just
yeah.
like,
And then when Trump was on the escalator and someone dropped the sign, that same exact thing happened in The Simpsons. Someone dropped a sign. Trump was on the escalator. He was going for president before it all even happened.
yeah.
So I think who knows? Maybe the creator is a fucking time traveler, dude.
I mean, maybe the creators Illuminati.
He could be Illuminati.
Honestly, Illuminati,
Could be a little fucking nutty.
Illuminate.
But I think yeah, it kind of goes with it. They do predictions, but they're very deep. There's also one thing I wanted to talk about. Also,
Okay.
actually, two more things, I guess, real quick.
Yeah.
Um, so apparently, uh, I can't remember if they're fucking connected. Ignore the fucking last shit, I guess. But like, basically, there's two theories, right? The apparently how what's it called where the Pope lives?
The Pope, Vatican.
The Vatican, yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, like like their vaults and shit with books and all that. This is,
No.
I think, a new theory, right? They have books like in a fucking basement, right?
Hmm.
And apparently, they know how the world was created, how everything was created, and it's all written in these books.
Yeah, I'm sure it's about God.
Well, that's the
Probably.
thing, though. Maybe it's like factual stuff that they want to hide from the world, so they created religion, which is a government, right?
Yeah.
To govern people, because religion, no, don't kill, don't do this and that and that,
Yeah.
Right?
Hmm.
But the only time one person was able to go in that was an outsider was this one Russian dude, and people think that he found something out that made them forcefully let him in
Maybe.
to read what it was or something like that. Ah, fuck. What was the other theory too?
There's a lot of believable things, and
Yeah,
I'm sure there is a absolute shit ton of knowledge out there that is known that I think would be absolutely mind blowing
yeah,
to like you and I, right? Or people like us. Um, I certainly think once they want to tell us that Area 51 is actually where they're manufacturing Taco Bell potatoes, I would like to know that. But I don't. I think that's going to stay underground.
Doritos Locos Nachos is being created in Area
Yeah,
51.
Area 51. Everyone thinks aliens are there, but really it's just where Taco Bell experiments with their new shit. Exactly. Yeah. Did you have any more that you wanted to bring up?
There was one more, but I fucking forgot about it. But it was a really good one too. A really fucking good one. I remember it was really good. I can't remember it though. Sadly,
Oh, rip,
that's too bad.
ripperoonie.
All right, if you that fucking theory, I'll probably figure it out and text you
I
it.
don't have any more.
Yeah, I know. I mean, there's more like the fucking dome theory,
Yeah.
which is I forgot to say too. Earlier, I'm ashamed to say it. I used to believe that the Earth was flat, dude, for like a good 3 weeks until I started googling for like a good 3 weeks, and I googled shit and I was like, yeah, no, this shit
What
ain't
made you
fucking
think
flat.
it? What made you make up your mind up about that? Like,
I
why
I
did you
don't
initially think about that or believe it?
just some stupid ass YouTuber who kept making fucking flat Earth theories. He's like, oh, the world's not a fucking ball. Why would it be a ball?
Yeah.
And then he changed it up for like, oh, above the dome there's water and that's what makes up the blue sky,
Okay.
etc. And it is like then it went to like a ton of stupid shit like, oh, there's fucking dragons outside of the fucking dome watching us, waiting for us.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, this dude's fucking high for sure.
Yeah, I was like, this is fucking stupid. Let me just do some research. But
Yeah.
like at first I thought like, oh, what if we're a snow globe? You know, just a big ass snow globe, a
Yeah, and
flat
every
snow globe
time the
on.
child who has it shakes it, that's when we have earthquakes.
Yeah, basically, dude. But
Nice.
yeah, that's all for now. I mean,
Yeah. I think this has been a good episode. I think we'll have way more conspiracy theories I think to talk about in the future for sure.
oh yeah, I do
Yeah.
definitely one day do want to talk about like creation in the world as a whole.
You want to talk about like how the earth was created and all that?
The possibilities of like what we both think
Oh, damn.
could have
Okay.
happened,
So
you
we're gonna
know,
get
or
deep.
like
We're gonna get deep. Okay.
yeah,
Gotcha.
or like maybe just like scary stories, like some fucking sleepover shit, dude. Which like fucking spooky
Sure.
vibes, you know.
Sure. Okay.
We'll have to figure it out for the next episode.
That's good. Okay, well,
Yeah,
if you're watching, thank you so much for coming and watching. Leave a like and comment about something that you may want us to talk about in the future.
yeah,
We do this every week, and we will see you later.
yeah, yeah. Bye. Fuck you. Bye.